Welcome back to the Off-Grid Property. It is March 21st, 2022, just after 8 a.m. and it's a warm 31 degrees. And as you would expect, it is quite windy. In fact, it's going to be pretty windy today. Mostly up to 30, sometimes up to 40 mile per hour winds. So that's what we're working with today. There's a Sadie. Sadie. Hey, say hi. She's dropped a couple of pounds in the last month or so. Got a bit more to lose, but starting to walk on that leg a little more. All right, you guys. So we are up here this weekend to get Starlink installed. Let's check it out. There it is. Can't wait to get it installed. It's going to be interesting in this wind. It's pretty windy, pretty cold out here right now. So I'm doing a very detailed unboxing, install, and initial review of the Starlink satellite internet system. I've got half of that review video unboxing already recorded. I'm going to finish up the other half while we're here, and I'm going to go ahead and put that all together and post it on my other channel sometime within the next week here. So make sure you go down below the description of this video, click on the link to go to my other channel, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notified when I post my videos to that channel. Other than that, I don't know what else we're going to do here. I got to make a list of things that I need to bring up here in May. I'm going to come up here for probably 2 weeks, give or take, first 2 weeks of May. So I want to make sure I have everything I need here, because we're pretty far from anything up here to go get stuff. So found a bone, actually found a few bones yesterday. There's the smallest one that we brought back for Sadie to play around with. She and I were out on a walk yesterday afternoon. Went to the end of the driveway essentially and just cut straight across through the property instead of taking the windy driveway all the way around and back. And when we did, we saw two things. One, we saw beneath one of these large junipers was I wouldn't call it a pile, but probably four bones. I'm assuming it's from a deer. Looked like part of a hip bone or a shoulder blade. I'm not sure what it was. It looked like a hip, like half of a hip. Or a pelvic bone, and couple bones like that. One was a little bit, quite a bit longer than that one, but we didn't bring it back. We just brought the little one back here. And the other thing we saw while we were out there is, even though I have 48 acres here, you would think that's a lot of land to be familiar with, but I don't usually document it, but I walk this property a lot. I've done it a lot over the past 7 years. You get to really recognize different landmarks, different trees across your property, and you just get familiar with the way everything looks. And when we were cutting across through the property, I looked up north and I saw a dark shadow object or something or other under a tree quite a ways away from me. And it just, it's one of those things where it stands out. It's not normal, what you normally see out here. So I stopped and was just looking at it, and Sadie started looking at it, and I was like, what is that? That doesn't look normal. And then sure enough, it got up off the ground, and it was a I don't know, moderately sized buck with not a very large rack on it. But he stood up and looked at us, and just stood there for a few minutes, just looking at us, and just kind of, he walked around in a circle for a second, looked over at us again, and he just casually just walked off into the trees. But I think that's pretty cool. Like I have my music out here blasting. I usually do that to just like run all the animals, the predators, away from here while I'm here, because I don't want any of them to come mess with the dog, especially now that she's and can't really take care of business anymore. So but yeah, the deer don't seem to be bothered by the loud music. I mean, I could hear it. I was way out there, and I could still hear the music, and the deer don't seem to be bothered by it. So I figured they would, but they don't seem to. Multiple occasions I've come across deer, and I've got loud music playing out here, and they don't seem to care. So pretty neat. Speaking of deer, let's go right to the game camera footage. All right, so pretty neat, huh? The pretty decent shot there of that deer. Oddly enough, we didn't get any cattle on the camera. Lots of images of rabbits. I'm not going to put them all in this video, but probably 4 different clips of coyotes, but they weren't really great, so I didn't put those in. But yeah, pretty neat. I think it's a pretty good spot for that camera. There's a couple other spots I'd like to put another camera, and I have a feeling we get a lot more wildlife captured on there. Right now, we're gonna take Sadie for a walk, She needs to get that leg moving, so we'll update you here in just a little bit. Okay, so we're here at the end of my driveway, and I think I put it in the last video. I'd noticed there's a decent little pine tree growing over here. Well, when I was looking at it yesterday on our walk, you could clearly see, if I can get in here, how this dead juniper beside it is beginning to interfere, if you will, with the growth of this pine tree. The pine tree itself is having to grow around some of these limbs, like they're tangled in between. And I'd really like this pine tree to kind of spread its wings, if you will. You can see the top of the tree is struggling to get through these dead branches here. So I brought out the old trusty bow saw, and I'm going to trim some of these dead branches back off this juniper. Hopefully allow that pine tree to, do what it intends to do. I'm not quite ready to chop that tree down yet. Just wasn't planning on doing it this weekend, but at least I can take some of these dead limbs off and get it out of the way of the pine tree. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay, I think it's going to be a lot better. Got all these pain in the butt branches out of the way. Hopefully it'll help keep critters from coming in here and trying to chew on this beautiful tree. But it is currently now unrestricted from the juniper, so that'll give me some time, let the tree grow out a bit, and then I can come back and cut this tree down, this juniper, and I think this tree will be all right. You can see where juniper branches were starting to come together with the pine tree branches in different spots, and that's what we don't want. So again, right there. So it's a good looking tree. There's a decent looking little pine tree, so hopefully it does well, and we'll get to see it grow up to be a much bigger tree. All right, we're gonna head back to camp. So literally 150 yards from that pine tree we were just working at, I see another one. This is a relatively large and old juniper tree here, and as you can see, it's mostly dead. There's only a couple branches down here on the bottom that are not. And this is due to the drought that we've gone through in the last few years. But because it's lost most of its needles, I was able to see that there's a pine tree within this juniper here. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of hard to see, but I'll bring you in here. When you see a lot of green inside a dead tree, that gets you looking a little closer, and sure enough, it's another pine tree. This one's pretty tall. It's about 13 feet tall, my guess. But as you can see, I don't know if you can see, it has a very skinny stalk on it, and it's kind of woven around and within this large juniper here. The reason why the stalk on it is so skinny, I don't know if you can see it down there going up behind the tree, but it's literally 1.5 inches in diameter. Shouldn't have a pine tree that's about 12, 13 feet tall with 1.5 inch diameter stalk on it. The reason why it's so skinny, if you will, is because this tree has struggled for sunlight all of its life, the pine tree, growing through this juniper. So rather than grow strong and stocky, it's trying to grow taller to get to the sun. And unfortunately, the stalk suffers. So I don't know if I can save that tree. At some point, it looks like I'm gonna have to chop all this down. This will make some really good firewood. Got some pretty big pieces in there. But I'll have to cut this tree down, and then maybe somehow support that pine tree, because there's no way it'll support itself once I cut this juniper down. The wind out here will just knock it right over. So there's another pine tree that I didn't know was there, growing inside this dead juniper that wasn't dead a year ago. So pretty cool. I guarantee you there's tons more out here that I just can't see or haven't seen yet, but they're out here. They're growing inside these junipers, and you can't see them. So I'm about halfway back to my camp down my driveway here. And man, I've walked through here 1,000 times. Walked by all these trees. And this is becoming a common theme, but I just happened to look over in this tree here. You guys probably can't see it, but there's yet another pine tree in there. About 7 feet tall. Right there. There's another one. Right underneath this juniper. It's actually a pretty healthy looking tree. Yep, looking good. So, I'll have to trim this juniper up. I'm not going to take it all the way down unless it ends up dying, but trim some of these lower branches back and allow this pine tree to get up there, and then we'll see how it goes. But yeah, just another one. I can't tell you how many times I've walked by this tree on my driveway. Walked by it, driven by it. Hell, my first camp was right there, beside this tree right here. That was my very first camp. And there's a pine tree inside that juniper. I never saw it. Crazy. Crazy. So, there's about 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 pine trees within junipers along this driveway right here, just to this point. That tells me that odds are there's going to be pine trees all over this property. They're just hidden within the junipers. So, pretty cool. Just thought I'd point that out once again. Good morning. Well, almost noon. It's just before noon, March 22nd. It's about 51 degrees, and I don't know if you can tell, but it's still really windy. Other than the wind, the weather's been pretty nice, actually. But the wind has just been blasting, and my allergies are going berserk right now. So that kind of sucks. But anyways, there is the Starlink dish. Apparently that's where it likes to point, that way. Approximately, I guess it would be close to due north, really. But yeah, that's it. Actually, the install was pretty clean, other than I had to kind of modify that swivel mount there that I got on Amazon to make it work. I think that's going to be temporary because it's not perfect, but it does exactly what I needed it to do. And whew, my allergies are killing me. Yeah, been a whole lot of that. Anyways, with all the crazy wind that we've had in the past day, I was worried that little mod I did up there wouldn't hold. I was worried that the dish would start slowly vibrating and work its way out of there, but I haven't seen the dish move at all, even in the highest gust that we've had here. So I think it's gonna be all right. I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with the speeds. It's unbelievably fast. When you do a speed test, compare it to what I was using before with the Verizon Jetpack to this now. Oh my goodness, like not even a comparison. It's huge, huge. I'm gonna show all that in my install review video that I'm doing on Starlink, which will be on my other channel. Again, you guys should look below in the description for the link to my other channel. Go over there, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you will be notified whenever I post those kind of videos over there. I'm going to pretty much cover everything you would need to know about Starlink, as far as the box it comes in, the dimensions, how I installed it, which was pretty simple, pretty rudimentary, pretty easy. If I had everything, all my tools and everything together right where I needed it, it probably would have taken me about 20 minutes to do the entire thing. But it's so simple how the whole thing comes together, and you turn it on, and you don't even turn it on, you just plug it in, and you go into the Starlink app, and you're online. You're online in like 30 seconds. So, pretty cool. Anyways, yeah, you're gonna want to check out that video on my other channel to really get an idea of how amazing this system is, and the cost difference. It's gonna cost me $35 a month more for Starlink than what I'm currently using with the Jetpack. But the capabilities are, can't even compare it. So in my mind, it's way worth it, especially out here where there's nothing. There's like zero infrastructure out here, so that's amazing. Anyways, I'm gonna spin you guys around. It's actually a really nice day if it was just a little bit less windy. Of course, you got the jets streaking the sky right now. Gotta love that. Hey guys, real quick, I want to show you something as I'm getting ready to leave here. I showed you some jets up in the sky, leaving trails. And believe what you want to believe, but their trails have turned into clouds. I'm not even kidding you. That was a trail right there that goes all the way that way north, and it's becoming a cloud. This gigantic thing right here was a jet trail that has turned into a cloud. There's more out there that are turning into clouds, and they're all over the sky here. right here. 1, 2, 3 trails that are turning into clouds. Is that what they call cloud seeding? Because that's exactly what is happening right before my eyes. Anyways, just thought I'd point that out, guys. But yeah, just a really beautiful sunny day. Pretty chill. I went over and hung out with a neighbor last night. Had dinner over there. He's getting ready to come out here full time, probably within the next year. And he's building a lot to get ready. So I envy him. I wish I could do the same. But now we've got amazing internet. Amazing internet. I had no problems powering it with my solar along with everything else I did. You know, it's totally feasible on a small solar system like I have over there. So Sadie's pretty sore. We did a lot of walking while we were here in the past 2 days, and her hip's bugging her. So she really didn't want to go on a walk this morning, but I made her do it anyways. We just went to the end of the driveway and back, but yeah, it's going to be, I think, a long recovery for her. And I don't think she'll ever be quite the same again. I mean, her femur is no longer connected to her hip. It's just kind of loose in her body. So that's kind of a problem. But I think she'll be all right in the long run. Anyways, I'm going to get out of here. Got a couple of little things I got to pack up and lock up, and I'm going to get out of here. I'll be back up sometime again in the next few weeks. And then I will be up here for 2 solid weeks in May. As long as the weather is permitting, as long as it's not crazy, crazy weather, I plan to get a ton of stuff done inside the tiny cabin. I got to get cracking on that. It's a project that's taking a long time, and there's a lot of reasons for it. I mean, life happens, you know. But I want to get it mostly finished and basically somewhat livable if need be, especially during the cold time of the year. So I'm going to focus most of my time in May on the little cabin here, and probably do some other odds and ends stuff around here. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Lumber prices right now are ridiculous again, and things are just getting crazy. Things are getting crazy. So this should not be the new normal. Anyways, sometimes I wonder if it's by design. Anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. Hope you guys have a great rest of your month. If you're not, I don't know if you're a prepper or not. I'm a kind of a middle of the road kind of prepper, and just saying, if you're not, if you don't have extra supplies, you might want to think about getting some. Don't be a hoarder, obviously. I mean, you could do whatever you want, but just get some extra stuff, you know? Get some extra stuff in case you need it and you can't get it. So, Might want to get a water filtration system too. Just saying. You might find some of that stuff down below in the description as well. Anyways, yeah, guys, have a great rest of your month. Be safe. Prep. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.